That's good. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you got to flip the narrative sometimes, you know? Dennis, good evening to you.
Hey.
What's up, bro?
Another happy hour and survival
Of the fittest.
Blessed are we if we managed to continue to stay out of harm's way. I hate to say it to even jinx it, but it's bad everywhere and getting worse in so many places. Lots to talk about with that, but I got to tell you, it's gotten to the point with Trump that
didn't take long.
There's nothing that he couldn't be expected to do. There's nothing that should be of shock. And we've said it so many times that it's just getting fucking boring. It's just getting boring.
I mean, that ramp was pretty slick. Apparently he spent 15 minutes at his rally with 6,000 people there. 6,000.
Yes.
Telling this
Instead
story,
of saying something about
and right. Like, but he's turning, like, he's a pretty good storyteller. Like when he can stay on topic. Like that was an entertaining story, and it's sort of like a stand-up comic, but where the audience doesn't know that it's supposed to be
Carnival Man.
Yeah.
Even a Carnival Man is going to be funny sometimes. He's going to have a select few, but his significant support is tightening, meaning shrinking, and it now is only prominent in uneducated white men. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of shrunk, and all the other stuff has gone in the other way. And so those folks are like Confederate. And so he is, as Steve Schmidt said, he's the second Confederate president. It's the symbols, it's the talk, it's the underlying racism, it's the getting the crowd roared up, and it's all about entertainment. His Tulsa, not only did it only get a smidgen, 6,200 out of 19,000 capacity, 1 million, the crowds we've never seen like it, 1 million tickets, blah, blah, blah,
right.
Is that it was devoid. He got up for it, and he was energetic and entertaining, and he was angry before and he was angry after and this and that, and everybody's lying about that. But at the end of the day, he didn't spend any time talking about anything that's important. All he did was
Why would
entertain, and they love it.
Why would you talk about issues?
When he goes to Phoenix, a young Republican, mostly white, almost all white. I did see African Americans there, and he is going to talk with them in a spike situation where they have surged. And in that surge, the much ballyhooed, one of the top 4 states that's surging, he has his rally. They're all white, mostly white, I should say, mostly white.
Right.
And when he starts to taunt the crowd with the coronavirus goes by many names, and he says a name, and it's a derogatory name and another name, and then he waits at the right moment, and he said, yes, and of course, the Kung flu. And the crowd erupted in applause, and what he's doing is he's creating a cult,
right?
A Confederate cult, which share values, and he can attract, as he did in the church, 3,000 kids, mostly without masks, and then in Tulsa, it's not like, he didn't get 19,000. Look, it's a miracle he got 6,000, 6,200. That's a miracle. That's a lot of damn people, but. Still, wherever they travel, wherever they go, and
just to address
crazy.
That, as if you set aside the racism, that's a pretty good wordplay, Kung flu. Like, I have to, like, if you can set aside the horrible racism.
That's exactly why it's one of the most terrible ones.
Right.
It's because it is in fact going to get people to laugh, whether they intend to laugh or not, and that's where his entertainment chops come in. He is a television man. He's never stopped having these rallies. It's the only time that he is more or less coherent. As long as it's the themes, he's coherent enough to get the crowd steamed up. And it's because he's on stage as an entertainer.
It was Mark Cuban, I think, that said, he put it perfectly, that Biden wants to run a country and Trump wants to run a campaign. And that is, on the other hand, Obama was never as good as he was in his campaigning. Like, Obama was also a charismatic, brilliant campaigner.
Yeah.
He was also an intelligent person who could govern, but his strong suit.
I remember him poor manager.
Right.
Federal funding to state funding, very poorly done, very overpromised,
And that's what's
very
broken.
rushed.
That's what's broken with the system is there's one skill set for getting elected and another for governing, and there's no way around that.
It's characteristic of the system.
Yeah, but
and one may say, I don't know that it's a down if it's a negative necessarily. First acknowledgement that it's a fact is the first step. Yeah, a bunch of different set of skills. But here's the thing that I think that I judge, because I, at the end of the day, I'm a manager and worked in the executive branch. And so
almost no charisma.
if they can manage your campaign well enough to win it, that means that somebody has got some management skill because they did win it. Unless it's a fluky thing, which the Trump won the electoral college and lost by 3 million votes. You know,
but
that's an outlier.
He governs the way he campaigns in that he says just the craziest shit that he hasn't run by any other people beforehand, and then everyone in his team has to scurry around and try and accommodate for that ego.
Just to take us right up to date, like about an hour ago in our time zone, is that he had said that he had. That's why I ordered slow down the testing. Just slow down the testing. And I said to them, and then later Fauci and all the other people said, at no time did anybody ever tell us to slow down testing. That was a big story. Ran for 2 news cycles. What they said, blah, 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 blah. Then an hour ago, it's announced, check this, that CDC is stopping federal funding for 13 drive-through pandemic test sites in the United States, 7 in Texas, which is the highest spiking state. And Trump now is true to his word, as if they didn't know it. He must have done it by executive order, obviously, okay? Because it was a surprise. He can say now, no, that's what I meant.
Yep.
That's the order I gave to reduce testing through drive-through. I just cut the funding. Oh, you didn't know it at the time? Well, it's my prerogative. I can do anything I want.
And when you're in this Truman Show sort of universe where you say something that no one has ever heard before, and people scurry around to make your truth a reality, it's like, how do you even know?
Somehow, the fucking damn press secretary comes out and she first is introduced and takes the stage, and she promises everybody. And, and it seemed she's very good on stage, very well spoken, of course, and she says, and I will never lie to you. She looks right in the camera. I will never lie to you. My wife and I both look at each other. We say out loud at the same time, oh, bullshit.
You just did.
It took her like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And she might as well have said, everything I say is a lie.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, God. What a circus.
But she's the perfect press secretary for Trump. This pretty manicured blonde, straight out of Fox News.
Oh, yeah. Well, Speaking of women in the news, you've got to find, you won't believe it. Maybe you'll have time for you to look at it quickly because it's pretty hilarious. When you find Ivanka Trump's comments on racial issues at the White House and the shot that they show taking of her between 2 30-foot chandeliers sitting on a velvet cushion. It was on John Oliver. He flashed it, is where I saw it. And there's never, the camera is so far away, so you can see these huge pillars, but it never shows her face. And he has a close-up of her. It just is this wild shot. And given the matter, it's in those it's like in a palace.
Right.
And it's marble, and it's chandeliers, and she's dressed in a $2,000 dress and $6,000 shoes, and and you're reminded, man, that woman has a heavy accent. What the fuck is this policy on immigrants? He's getting back at his wife. It's like, that's what it's about.
Melania Trump.
Oh, God.
You said Ivanka.
Okay, I meant Melania. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. But find it. And
it's,
so
it's very let them eat cake, right? That's the most famous one of, oh, well, the peasants don't have food. Well, they can eat cake. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty depressing. So, my kids have finished school, as it were. They which means the teachers are no longer sending stuff for us to try and force the kids to do, and then also have us have to take a picture of the work that they did and send it back to the school so that the teacher can prove that they are still doing their job.
So you're on summer break.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a thing. So there was a.
That's great. Trips planned to do it? Well, you can't, can you? You can't travel, can you, freely?
Actually, well, first of all, we were supposed to be in the U.S. on this date. We had flights for last weekend,
right.
and
canceled.
Not only did we cancel, but the flights themselves were canceled. Like it wasn't even an option to go. And
coming to the most populated, most per capita country in the entire world by coming here.
Yeah,
you're will be so overexposed when you come to the U.S.
I think they call those. I think they call those shithole nations. Is that what Trump's term?
Did you hear that the European Union is considering not allowing travel from Americans to visit and closing it, much like the U.S. did to Great Britain to begin within the EU? That is very bound to happen sometime in the next week. World leaders shun Trump. World leaders shut him down. It's not looking good for the dude. It's not looking good, and he's a desperate man. Hey, so the video you showed me from the Lincoln Project of juxtaposing the Trump story about going down the ramp and then Biden running to the ramp with what was the tagline?
Oh, it was
elect Biden. He's not a whiny little bitch.
Yeah, he's not a whiny little bitch. Yes, such a good slogan.
I know that it was available enough for you to send it to me, but
that will be in the show notes.
Internationally, huh? Oh, yeah, I know.
Somebody made that.
Would it be? It's not an ad I've seen on television.
It's not an ad. Some internet person made that and shared it. It was okay. Maybe
no, it's a link.
Maybe. So
that's Steve Schmidt.
Okay, I wasn't aware of.
I think I donated money to them. It's the best stuff. It's the very best stuff.
Let's see.
But anyway, post to it because it is hilarious.
It's so well made. Let's see. Hold on, I got the click. Lincoln Project. Yep. Project Lincoln on Twitter.
I might have. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I will. This will be in the show notes at happyhour.fm/065. And, well, so no, they reposted it. They didn't make it. Some other dude made it.
Oh, okay.
So, and the other dude, his Twitter header image now is Biden president. He's not a whiny bitch. So this is clearly the most viral thing that person has ever made, and he's writing it because it's so fucking good. That will be in the show notes. Yes, and it's so representative of Trump's way of being.
He spends all this time in his first campaign event in a 2/3 empty arena, over 10 minutes, talking about this story about this fucking ramp. And explaining it and showing the bottom of his shoe and people loving it and it was like he was a fucking carnival man. He's standing on one foot and he's looking up in the air and he's saying, "It goes by many names. It goes by many names." And the crowd just eats it up. And he's a carnival man. He's dressed in a bright blue suit. He's dressed in a bright red tie. And he is a fucking carnival barking fucking dog shit.
All right, well, let's stop talking about him. Fuck him. Like that's the whole problem.
You're on.
Let's talk about something else.
Well, that's not the whole problem. It does exacerbate the problem. It proves his point, doesn't it?
Indeed.
Fucking controlling the news fucking stuff.
Even this fucking podcast. What the fuck?
Here's I'll say this, and then this is Trump's belief. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Indeed. So my kids discovered this app on a phone that is this common, like I've seen, I guess when I was a teenager, people did this, and then, I don't know, maybe also in college, this game called Would You Rather. Have you heard of this idea of, would you rather do this or would you rather do that?
Would you rather be a snake or would you rather be a fox?
Right. And so anyway.
Or about act.
There's this dumbass app on my phone called Would You Rather, and they do this same thing, but then as soon as you choose, they tell you what percentage everyone else chose as well. I thought we could play a couple rounds of this.
What did you learn? What did you learn?
I learned that I am a unique snowflake.
Oh, well, listen up, snowflake. This ain't going to be an easy thing. I hope you're ready.
So I thought I would ask you I thought he would ask you a couple of these things to see how you feel and how your desires compare with the populace out there that are dumb enough to play this stupid game.
Is it fast paced?
This is a new segment of our podcast called Would Dennis Rather?
Wait a minute. It would be the first segment because we've never actually noted that something was a segment. But it's a good idea.
No, it's a segment.
It'll break the monotony.
Okay. Dennis,
I'm ready.
Would you rather skip your morning routine or skip your bedtime routine?
Skip my bedtime routine.
Okay. 55% agree with you. Very good. Would you rather be unable to sit or unable to stand?
Are you very good? Is there judgment here? Is that because I'm with the majority that's very good? I mean, why is it to be better in this example? Better simply because I'm with the majority.
There is no judgment.
Explain.
There's no judgment. It's just...
You said it was better.
No.
You said good. When I said you said good.
Okay.
Good.
In that case, I will judge you depending on whether or not you agree with the masses. Okay? So...
And agreeing with the masses is somehow better?
That's the way I'm going to judge you, yes.
Why is that? Explain yourself.
That's another segment.
Oh, wait. So we're gonna first play the game and then understand later.
Yes.
What the rules
the moral judgments.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. We'll come back to the basis later. I can go blind. I'm good. I didn't mean to upset the apple cart.
Would you?
I didn't get the memo. Go ahead.
Would you shut up? Okay. Would you rather be unable to sit or unable to stand? Many people are unable to stand. Sitting is also quite nice.
Would I rather be? I have to choose which one I would rather not do the most.
Yes.
What would I rather do? Lose the ability to stand or lose the ability to sit? Is that the question?
That is the question, as stated. Yes.
I would rather lose the ability to sit before I would lose the ability to stand.
I agree with you. Let's see what the 61% agree with us. So, good.
Wait.
We
Here we go again. Why is that good? Okay. You said no judgment.
This is a good one.
Every time 2 out of 2, you've given a judgment. Go ahead.
Those two were dumb. This one's thought-provoking. Would you rather go back in time to meet your ancestors or go forward in time to meet your great-great-grandkids? Everyone, I think everyone has dreamed about what it would be like to go back and meet their ancestors, when they were your age or whatever. But God, the grandkids are much more interesting because they're in the future. I agree.
Much more magical.
Yes. And much more, impossible.
What does the population say?
56% agree with us. It's better to go see your future grandkids.
I'm shocked to hear.
You should be
shocked. What percentage of Americans have grandchildren? Give me that piece of number right now. Google it. What percentage of people have grandchildren? No. Is it 56%?
No. It's what percentage of people will ever have grandchildren. Because this was talking about going to meet your great-great-grandchildren. Like...
okay.
We're talking about time travel.
Well, the first question was, I've done that. I mean, haven't you?
What?
Time travel. Gone back in time.
No, I go forward in time.
Past.
I go forward in time.
You've never fallen backwards? You've never gone back?
No. Would you like to tell me about when you did that? I mean, I have memories.
No. I haven't even admitted it's happened.
Maybe sometime in the future you can come back to now and tell us about it.
Yeah. Well, the Time Traveler's Wife, of course, is an all-time favorite that we've spoken of many times. Incredibly most well-done time travel movie in history.
Is that the one where it's like unstable, sort of like Slaughterhouse 5, where there's just sliding between times? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, one more because this is we want to do the whole hour.
It's fantastic. It's and so you know that I'm not a bleeding heart on this when I say this, is that it was as perfect a movie as I've ever seen. That's what I thought about that movie. I think that about a lot of movies, frankly. You think, but it's in that category of wow. Every bit of it, every second, the casting, the tone, the temperament, the way it works, the way it flows. It's so exciting, the things that he can do, because he can pick the lottery and he can have the money. He can buy the house, and it can be comfortable.
And it's hard.
And it's tragic.
Yeah,
it's tragic.
Time travel ultimately becomes tragic. Like it's knowing what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. I don't know. Like
Michael J. Fox would disagree.
Okay. Well. Okay. All right. Here's the last one.
Because his time travel story didn't end in tragedy.
No.
It ended in a joyous ending.
Well,
poignant. What were the names of those movies? Back to the Future.
Very good.
Back to the Future 1, I love sequels when they're named so good, so creatively, right? Back to the Future 1, Back to the Future 2. No, simply Back to the Future, then Back to the Future 2,
Right.
then Back to the Future 3. And just make it clear that it's a sequel, because we might not have known that.
Well,
even though the name imply it.
The first movie ended with "To be continued," right? So it was, where we're going, we don't need roads.
But they all ended on a high note.
True, and Biff always got what was coming to him.
But they were comedies. So
yes.
Otherwise, they'd be a tragedy, which is, it's just a different genre. It's just a different genre. I tell you why I vote for Donald Trump. Because, this COVID-19 thing, it don't mean nothing. You're either going to get it or you ain't going to get it. It doesn't much matter. I don't believe that all those people have died. They're making those numbers up.
All right. Last would Dennis rather? This is a tough one. Would you rather age only...
Wait a minute. Let me pour doers.
Well,
let me pour doers.
It's a good way to age. I see your doers. You got your doers and your donors.
So I'm going to say, some men are thinkers. And then I always say, yeah. Some men are doers.
Yeah, some are donors. You can go to patreon.com/happyhour. Be a donor.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, boy.
Oh boy.
All right. Focus.
Yeah.
Focus, Dennis. Get your...
Yep.
Would you rather age only from the neck up or only from the neck down? I know you're aging in both directions. But if
Actually, that's not true. This is easy for me. Aging from the neck up, because that's the fact. That's the way it's been working. I got no trouble down there, if you know what I mean.
All right. And the survey says, 45% said only age from the neck up. Everyone else is more concerned about their selfies and their Instagrams and their TikToks and their bullshit.
I'm a cracked, scraggly looking old fuck. I earned every bit of it.
But that youthful body, though, is just...
like a fucking Adonis. No shit.
Yeah, well...
I'll tell you what.
So this concludes our segment. Would Dennis rather?
Looking at Don. So in only one case did I not fit in the majority.
Yes, you're very normal.
We're in our house, a house that we've talked about so many times over the year, and I wake up to go to the bathroom at 3:30 in the morning, and I walk through the sitting room, the second floor sitting room that faces south with the big windows, and I go in the bathroom. And when I'm in the bathroom, I hear a scratching. And I don't know if I can hear it or not because I'm in the bathroom. But the bathroom that I'm in, then I come in, and I come into the room, and I listen, and it's an animal chewing. And I know that it's right where it is. And when my wife gets up and hears it, and we walk upstairs into the attic room, we know in between the second and the third floor, in the floor space, there's an animal eating the wood. So I set forth the plan, and I say, well, the first thing is you got to kind of know where the animal comes in. It can't come in the south side or the north side. There's 7 inches of concrete. It's either the west side or the east side. Each one has a porch. Each one has a crawl space. How do you keep critters from getting in? I know I'm going to go ahead and seal them off, and I'm going to set a trap.
Wow.
And I'm going to catch it. And I buy a trap. I buy squirrel bait.
You could be a general.
So you got any of that squirrel bait? We got some rabbit bait. Let's see here. And we got some deer bait. But we don't have any seem to have any squirrel bait. I said, it's on the shelf there listed. I wonder if you've got any anywhere. And he said, well, we got this one kind that does it all. And I said, what's that called? He said it's called your master bait. That's not true. But he did say all that about the squirrel bait. And then he finds it. And he says, here's the last jar. So I buy it. And so I cage. It's just a couple of doors and a little jimmy trap that when you step on it, the doors close like this. And I put some squirrel bait on it and some grapes. And I work half a day off and on to build a door so that when you close the door of the crawl space from outside and you put the trap in there, and the only way that they can get it, they can dig through, but they also, is my hope, they're coming out of the house where they're scritching and scratching, where they have to leave several times a day to drink and to really eat some food, something besides chewing on wood. The wood chewing is nesting.
You could leave them food.
They're moving. They might move out.
Why don't you leave them a little bit of food in a litter box or something so they can just live in there?
So I open up the door and the trap is set. There's no animal in it. I do it again. I open the door and the trap is set. And I do it 3 or 4 times. And it's a live trap thing. So I finally caught my first chipmunk. And I just let him go. I mean,
or Eric.
Well, of course. I mean, it was outside. It wasn't under the porch. But here's the thing. I'm in my shed, in my garden shed, and there's a hole that's about the size of if you took a dollar bill and you cut a dollar bill in half, that's the size of the hole way up on the rafter that's been chewed away. And so you think that it's a chipmunk. And so I go in the shed and I hear this noise in that area up there. It's going, I said, what the fuck is that? And it's this sound, this weird chortling. And I get a long thing that reached the peak of the ceiling where this hole is, where I hear this noise, and I want to make some noise to scare it out. And I take the metal, it's a piece of metal used for a straight edge, and it's like 8 feet long, and I hold it up, and I rattle against the roof. Out jumps from that hole a fucking red squirrel that from head to the tip of its tail was like 14, 15 inches long.
Wow.
It weighed a couple of pounds, although most of it's probably fur, which explains why it got in and out of the sleeve. I fucking shit my pants. And it was so big that it jumped against the metal thing, boing, 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 and jumped out.
Wow.
That's what this cage is for. Not a little chipmunk. So I gotta seal up the holes where they crawl up on the roof, they crawl and they go inside, it's warm, and they're nesting. I found a possum last week when I pulled away a board. It was a baby possum, and it looked up at me and it went, and then it acted like it was dead. And I said,
"That's what they do. It's true.
You really are an opossum." And I have
a little on the nose.
There are a pair of grippers. They're a pair of grippers with suction cups on them that you use to reach up on a high shelf and get not a can of beans, that would be too heavy, but something like a bag of noodles.
Yeah, them's called possum grippers.
Yeah, well, that's what I turned them into. I gently picked the possum up and pulled him into a basket with some of the straw that he was sitting in, and I took him over the fence and I let him go, and was hoping, and then I boarded up the hole, and so I don't know where Mama is, but he can't come back. It was like back to nature. But they're terrible creatures. I had a rabbit in a cage once, and an opossum got at it through the crevices in the cage and tore it into pieces, shredded it. And the rabbit could just stay away far enough to only be mortally wounded. And it was just it was the worst image. Now you have it, and I apologize to our listeners. This isn't an image you need. But I just want to say, these opossums, what they're playing opossum, playing possum, so they say, bullshit. Fucking predatory beast. Fucking meat-eating motherfucker.
Boy, what you need is some master bait and a possum gripper.
Well, you probably use the squirrel bait. The question is, I mean, is a possum going to know it's a possum and not a squirrel in the first place? And what's the difference between a rabbit bait and a squirrel bait? It's probably all the same. It comes from a master tub, the main tub. It's
the primary bait tub. Hey,
I ain't just jerking you off about this. It's serious business.
Hey, it's
oh God.
My pappy was a masturbator, and my grandpappy was a masturbator, and I'm a masturbator.
I tell you what, we could bait some traps back in the day. We go into that house and we set that trap. My pappy, good God, he could set a trap. He could set a trap. He taught boys and girls from all over how to set those traps.
How do you think he caught my mom?
He was the most well-known masturbator in the United States of America for a while. He was. Hey, I ain't jerking you around about this. This is serious business. That's all you need. Suction cups. No goddamn suction cups. Sure come in handy when you're trying to grip you something. Trying to grip you a possum. You're goddamn right. You put it against that sucker ears and lift gently. Lift them. They don't like it. But you know how they act? Here's my imitation of a possum. We're grabbing it with the possum grabbers. That's it.
It's a good imitation.
Acting like the dead. Thus the phrase playing possum.
The hard part's getting them off the suction cups once they're stuck.
What's that?
It's hard to unstuck a possum when you got the gripper.
Hey, we could make money off this because so many people were buying the suction grippers. Well, and we sell them. We sell
gotta lubricate
to the possum community release salve that they put on their ears, and they buy it, and we're selling to both markets simultaneous. And then when the grabbers
Yeah.
Don't grab it. They slip off because of the salve. But we'll sell another version of the grabbers. They just grab a little different, like at the armpits.
It gets
so that the arms act like so you can just gently pull it out of its possum hole.
Because if it gets too stuck, you gotta like, hey, masturbator lubrication. That's what we need. If you're
my pappy told my Uncle Toto, we call him. He figured out how to do a time thing, so where you would apply it, and then there was a time release version to it. And for the life of me, I can't remember what we called it. You'll have to figure it out yourself.
Excellent. I think
it was a lubricator. He was a masturbator and a master lubricator.
Yep.
Because he knew how to lubricate it and to make it sensitive to time.
Timbricator. Yeah. Because you don't want.
Anyway.
You don't want too much suction. Yeah.
Oh. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I set the cage. Catch a chipmunk.
Back to our story.
Chipmunk go. I know that it works. In the basement, and I'm building a new closet area for out-of-season clothing down in the basement. And as I'm working down there, out of my eye, I see, oh my God, there's a very healthy-looking, very speedy little mouse running at the 5-foot top of the concrete foundation border where it meets the wall of the wooden wall for the house.
Yep.
And it crawls up the wall and goes through a hole the size of a freaking quarter. Well, about $0.50. And is gone. And I say, oh my God, that's the mouse that was chewing in the attic. And oh, by the way, my wife yesterday finds in a kitchen drawer, a mouse was in the drawer. And a mouse gets into your batting in your house
left a little note
through the walls, and can scurry up anywhere. And he scurried away. And I just happen to have in the garage a can of Gap spray, foam that when it comes in contact with moisture in the air, expands, and it's up to a 3-inch gap. And I shake it up and I take it and I seal up that whole part. Mouse is caught outside the house, can't get in its favorite point of entry. And as far as I know, it's only point of entry. Problem fucking solved. I feel fucking Amish about
Bravo.
it. That I solved this problem.
You feel Amish?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
There was no electricity involved.
Good day to you. Yeah, just some crazy modern chemical. But sure. Whatever floats your boat. Gap spray. But, whatever.
Yeah, that's not Amish can use that.
Can they?
That's not electrical.
It was made in the lab, though.
Yeah, that's not. I don't think that would be a problem for them.
No?
I think they go to hardware stores all the time.
Well,
I may be wrong. You can check.
That's how they.
You have nothing but time on your hands. Unlike me, who's busy. I tried for an hour today to take a nap. I could barely take a nap. So, have you been busy?
I also tried to take a nap today.
For a living?
Oh, I am working. I'm working a lot. Yes. For the first time in 3 months, my in-laws were able to come visit this past weekend. They live an hour and a half away, and they were able to come.
Did you ask, or how'd you handle that?
How did I do what?
They stayed with you?
Yeah.
How'd you handle the COVID-19?
You know how the Heisman Trophy has the outstretched arm? No, we deemed them healthy enough to be near.
No mask.
No. So that was they stayed for the weekend, and I went out to a bar for the first time with my father-in-law.
Oh my God.
And that's a weird thing because
that's amazing.
Because the bars
we're not anywhere near open up.
The bars have this sign up that says masks are required, but it's sort of hard to go into a place based around drinking and always have your mask over your mouth, because as I opined the other day on social media and got no attention whatsoever, it's awkward that evolution put our eat hole at the same place as our breathe hole, right? It's like we use the same hole for that.
Well, so delicately put. I can't.
In the same way,
why catch on?
In the same way that for some reason
for me, so I can. What is it again?
That our eat hole is near our breathe hole.
What is this?
And that's
our eat hole. is the same thing as our breathe hole.
But like also like if you were going to design an organism, that would be a terrible design. Not to mention the fact that our
Why do you think the asshole thing out on its own?
well, hold on, that our pee hole is more or less the same as our sex hole is also kind of a mysterious. Like why should that be the same?
I see, but I think this might catch on. You should write a fucking book about it.
And
what
the
would
fact
it be named? How would you join those two things in one title? One catchy title. Wait, it
evolution,
would be
the holes in the theory of evolution.
Holes, the duality of holes,
Yes.
and the reality of the duality of holes.
Yes, exactly.
How would that be?
So anyway,
More simply, duality of holes.
the duality of holes. Yes, that's
And in parentheses before the word holes, a W. Because at the end of the day, that's what we have to get to.
the holistic duality.
1, 2, 3,
From many one,
4. That's
e pluribus holum. Yeah. So anyway, like you can't wear your mask while you're out drinking. That don't make no sense.
no.
Because you got to put your drink
But
in your
kinda
e hole.
just jam a fucking hole into your fucking throat.
Well,
You can figure out how to control that. And
my
just
wine
suck
hole.
down your and if it doesn't catch on, you'll hear people saying, "God damn it, you're such a wine hole."
Don't breathe out of your wine hole.
This is what happens. Be careful. Let's say that you do create what you call the wine hole, W-I-N-E, in your throat.
Yep.
But one day, somebody, some guy, some motherfucker who we don't like, he ends up taking the straw out and instead figuring out a way to fucking complain through that little fucking hole in his throat with a little tiny voice.
The H in my
just
wine hole.
bitching and complaining all the time. So now it's renamed the wine hole, W-H-I-N-E.
Right. Get your H out of my wine hole. That's what I say.
Fucking wine hole. Oh, God.
Not a whiny bitch. Joe Biden.
Oh. Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we've had lovely, speaking of weather, yes, we've had some lovely weather here, a little cooler. We laid 1 ton of stone in the yard surrounding our large 100-year-old bush that we saved on our property.
Your bush
And let's all get stoned. Let's all get stoned.
Wait, that's not the same as the Why Don't We Do It in the Road song.
Why don't we do it in the road?
What a stupid ass
Why
song.
don't we do it in the road? And you know the thing is that it's kind of about roadkill. Why don't we?
It's about possums.
Because the bass is a funeral dirge beat. Boom boom. Why don't we do it in the road?
You know what you need
Boom
to
boom.
clean up the roadkill? It's a possum grabber.
Who will be watching us? Why don't we do it in the road? Dum, dum. Then there's an answer. And the answer, unscripted, is go, Eric. Go.
Because the asphalt chaps my bottom.
Yeah, well, we can go back to that if you want. We can go back to that. Oh, Lord God, help us.
Don't be grabbing my possum.
And so there's, we make money on that shit. Oh, look, the sun just all
I thought you had an idea just
went
now.
behind the clouds.
Yeah. Wow. You just got brighter. Which is not a high bar, so to speak. Wait, he's dimmer again. What you need, boy, is a possum grabber.
Well, I try. I try to work up these ideas in between shows so that we don't slag. Oh, I need me a fat tire. Quenched.
Wait, no.
That last segment just
Wait.
quenched me.
Well, then you don't need to drink if you're quenched. You mean you're
Not quenched. I'm thirsty. Parched.
arched. There's
What
the
I meant to say. Good God.
Yeah, we'll edit that
I
out.
put the cart before there, didn't I? So did you get the Father's Day stuff I sent you today?
What email address are you sending
SNL
these
clips.
things? Yes,
You got it. You got the SNL clip.
I got that.
I don't know who the actor is in this SNL clip who
Okay,
does
wait.
the most outrageous.
I got that, but I went to play it,
But you can see it.
and YouTube said, as it does for many SNL skits, it said, this video is not available in your country. And so I said, well, But I said, well, I'm an
fuck
IT
that.
professional, motherfucker, and I went and I used a VPN to get so that it looked like my requests were coming from inside the United States. And YouTube said, this video is not available in your country. And so I was confused and upset, and I may have heard a possum.
Depressed.
Yeah, and it was
might have heard one?
very stressful. No, I found a possum and I heard him. Yeah.
God,
We don't have marsupials here.
We shouldn't do that. I didn't hurt this little baby possum. The suction grabber was so gentle and worked very well.
Okay.
Very well. It'll be an all-time song. I wish I was fast enough to catch me a chipmunk with them fucking grabbers. Maybe we could connect it with like a fucking Star Wars Jedi laser beam somehow, that it was fast enough to capture live a chipmunk. Then whip it around like a lasso and throw that chipmunk over the trees about 100 yards up the road. It ain't going to come back no mo. It ain't going to come back no mo.
A monk launcher.
God damn. A what launcher?
A monk
you
launcher.
Switch to monkeys?
No, monk.
What?
Chipmunk.
A monk.
Monk launcher.
Monk. Hey, big Greek wedding. Or my big fat Greek wedding.
Yes.
Seen it, right?
You bring it up several times a month. Yes.
And the Presbyterians bring the Greek family a bundt cake, which they'd never heard of or seen. You've got to remember it. They can't pronounce the word bunt.
Right.
They don't understand. Bunt? Have we had this conversation before? I'm sure we have. Probably. Who gives a fuck? There ain't anybody who listens to 60. Well, how many of these? 66? No.
A million.
60.
We are at.
How many episodes?
We're at number 65. So that's 65. Pretty.
It's an important age.
It's a big one. It's a multiple.
Retirement age. Oh no. No, it's not true. We're not thinking of retiring. No, it's rumors.
No, not with all of our earnings. Yes.
Oh Lord. We went to a bar. We finished our walk. We made it to Lake Michigan.
Yep.
In our round trip, 72 miles all total. Got to the lake, and the last mile, my plan that I mentioned was that I had to walk into the beach and save the last mile because I had a backpack, had some towels in it, and we're going to have some beers. And I didn't want to walk back more than a mile after drinking a couple of beers, so we saved the last mile.
Yep.
We got to the last mile, and it was a park. That was a mile away to where they served beer. So it was actually 2 miles, which wasn't expected. So we went to a joint that we never knew was there. It was on the marina. It was on the canal that leads into Lake Michigan in South Haven, Michigan. Huge canal, boats going by. And it was, in fact, a place you could rent fishing boats. But there was a gate to the right for that and a gate to the left to the Admiral's Reefs Club, I think the name of it is. And you walk, and there's a bar, outdoor bar, in bar, and a guy playing music who I know. Alex Mays. You got a link to the guy. He's streaming. He's wonderful voice, great guitar. You'll love him. We played together off and on several times. But there's Alex. Now here we are at the end of a trip, and the dude from Kalamazoo, 38 miles away, who I haven't seen necessarily or heard play in a year. We show up at the one place we're going to have our celebratory drink and congratulatory drink, our beer at our first bar because we completed it. And there's one of the best single musicians playing with just him and a guitar anywhere in the area. It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Some people call him Alex.
Some people know him by not his name Alex, but by his letter of his first name. They call him A. And when you see his name and you see his signature, it says Amaze.
Nice.
Amaze. In fact, here's the cool thing. Since I heard him last, do you know the theme song from the vampire series, True Blood?
No.
I'm gonna do bad things to you. Oh, you don't?
You've talked about that show before, but I've never seen it.
Okay, well fine. Forget about the show because it's not for your taste. But the music, listen to the opening, listen to the theme music, and know that's what Alex just played. He channeled it on the boat channeled it on the channel. No pun intended.
Don't turn that channel.
It was a great interaction.
Nice.
It was great, man. was weeks and weeks in the making. Yeah, I think you posted some pictures. I'll remember to send you some.
Yeah, I found
final,
I found the map of the thing, and that's in the show notes somewhere in the previous episodes. People have to go to happyhour.fm to find that.
It's gorgeous. It was so much fun.
All right,
and we went and we ate Mexican.
Did you know? Tell me less about that, please.
Apparently,
I am tired.
I seem to have bored you. I do apologize.
Really? And then you went to Mexican? We have more than enough. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
and some good funny shit too.
What's that?
What? Possum?
I'm gonna do bad things to you.
Is that what you sang to the chipmunk?
Yeah. I picked up the cage and I rattled it until it was moving all around, and I looked at it and snarled. And I almost like I had fangs. I was like, I'm gonna do bad things to you. Fucking freaked the thing out, man. Then I let it go. It was, it's fun to do that.
Empty threat.
I didn't mean to tease it much. Wouldn't tease it any more than I would tease my younger brother, who I put in a cage and teased with all manner of peanut butter and whatnot. But that's a story for another time. Listen, bro, it's been an important milestone. We are at retirement age, and here's to you and producing. Oh, you've switched from wine to beer. That ought to feel good in the morning. Why not?
My wine hole was all full.
You shut your fucking wino. I don't want to hear no shit from you. Fucking wino.
All right, that wraps up episode number 65 of Happy Hour. You can find the show notes at happyhour.fm/065. And we would love it if you could go to patreon.com/happyhour and buy us each a round. And stay safe out there with the COVID and the chipmunks and the mice and things. And we'll see you next week.